is Lord Doom for John Murphy TV, and today I am with
AfroDiziac. What's up, baby?
Hello there.
Hey.
AfroDiziac. So introduce yourselves all, tell me what you do in the band. And
So I'm Antoine and I play the drums.
I'm Tig, I'm on bass.
And I'm AfroDiziac. I do the ass shaking.
and that is your actual name, AfroDiziac.
I go by AfroDiziac.
Yeah,
Someone
so-
actually gave me that name.
Oh yeah, so well, I go by Lord Doom. Somebody gave me that name as well years ago in the 80s, you know what I mean?
That's the way to earn a nickname.
Well, there was
Someone gives it to you, man.
There was a band in the 80s called AfroDiziac.
Oh,
You know
really?
that?
Is it a French group?
English.
Is it English group?
Yeah, in English.
Oh, I'm really.
Oh, that's news to us.
I'm gonna start knocking on some
Yeah,
doors.
So yeah. So tell me how you all met up, and tell us that. Tell us that story to start.
I love this
That's
story.
a lovely story.
Fate.
That's lovely.
So actually, it started with Antoine here because, look, I born in Canada. I moved to New York when I was a little kid. I grew up there. Then I moved to Stockholm, and that's where this guy comes in.
Yeah.
I lived in London before that for 2
Right.
years too. This guy actually knew people from when I lived in London. So we had like some mutual friends.
Yeah.
And this guy pops up on Instagram, kicking ass on the kit. And I'm still in Stockholm at this point. Pandemic is going on. I start recording a record, and I call this guy up, and I said, "Hey man, maybe we should do some playing together eventually." And like, it just didn't work out that way, obviously, because everything was locked down.
Yeah.
Right. So after the pandemic, I moved to Berlin. All right, get out of Stockholm, and finally we talk again. We've been talking, and one thing leads to another. And this guy's coming over to Berlin. We're playing a show. But even before that, here's the kicker. Him and I set up a tour together. Tig's not involved
Oh,
yet.
I'm not here.
So he's the secret
Fine,
weapon.
I get
Yeah?
All right.
We set up a little tour. It was like, what was it, 5 dates, was it?
6 shows in total.
Was it 6 in
Yeah, it
total?
was 6.
Phew. And that was about 7 months ago.
It was late October, early November.
Yeah. And that was the first time we had played together.
Yeah.
And I just found like my match. Because this guy can chase down all my licks. He knows what I'm doing. He's locked in with me 100%. We're ready to go. So after that, again, 7 months pass. And I say, yo man, I want to come back to England. We want to do another run. And I think, let's get Tig in order. He says, I got this guy named Tig, man. He's got this bitch in gear. He's hard as hell on the stage. He knows how to perform. He can even do backing vocals. I said, all right, let me check him out. I sussed him out a little bit. And then I found out he's a like sweetest fucking guy.
Oh, well, rather.
Really, yeah, man.
Moscow.
He's a sweetheart. And we had him on this tour, and this is the first show we actually played
First
together
show,
with
yeah.
Tig. And what, we've known each other for
Up to a week.
about a
Maybe 2
week.
weeks.
So I flew these guys out to Berlin, and we did a rehearsal, and here we are starting our tour. First day.
You flew them out. You paid for it, or your record? Yeah. Okay.
Well, they paid for the flights.
All right.
I paid for the food and the lodging and all the
Yeah.
other shit, and the rehearsals and all that.
And he makes the best mac and cheese you ever seen.
It's true.
I do
And
cook.
the steak.
That's right.
That's
I am a tomahawk guy. You
Furious.
know. I'm Brazilian, so you know.
So describe your music.
Let's hear what you two think. I know what I sound like.
It's a
but I'm
very hard
curious.
thing to describe, man.
I think that's the hardest question I get asked.
Go for
honestly.
it. Let's see, I'll build on that.
Now I'm interviewing him.
I really don't know where to begin. But what I will say is there's shades of so many influences when
Yeah.
you hear it. So I'd actually rather leave it up to like the listener, you know?
Yeah,
Because I feel like there's so many elements,
it's very interpretive.
but because of that, I don't like telling people, oh, it sounds like this, it sounds like this, because I feel like it almost ruins the experience, you know? Because it almost, I don't want to typify the music. Because I lock in with it so much, and as much as I didn't play on Vanity Affair, which is Ivan's album, which will eventually be coming out.
Yeah.
I'll say no more on that. I feel that I've been such a part of it, even though I didn't play on it, you know? But I will leave it up to the listeners to decide.
So okay, then tell us about your musical influences then.
Okay. So I'll make it short because it could be here all day. But I was obviously into Zeppelin, and Bonham was like the main influence from like 5 to sort of 17, and I was really into Zeppelin live. I listened to all the bootlegs. Then I got into like Mahavishnu Orchestra, fusion drumming like Tony Williams and Billy Cobham. And now I've started to get more into jazz drumming as an influence. And as much as I'm not like a pure straight ahead jazz drummer, I try and take all the influences from like fusion, funk, soul, rock, and blues.
Very much so.
That's the sort of short and bite-sized version.
So everybody else, can you sort of like tell us your influences without
Well, let's leave me for last.
I mean, bass-wise, John Paul Jones is a big one. Jack Bruce, Andy Fraser, a lot of early 70s rock stuff, Saturday rock stuff. That's kind of where I'm at, really. But that's my main, probably favourite bass players. And some of the soul stuff, James Jamerson, Duck Dunn, that kind of player, you know, like that sort of stuff.
That's exactly why I got him. So actually, I'm sort of a mixture of both of these guys with a lot of different like cultural influences. So growing up, I had a lot of like Brazilian music in the house.
Okay.
My parents are both from São Paulo. I always grew up as an immigrant, so.
But did you ever live in Brazil?
Never lived there, no. Always Canada, New York, Philly, Jersey, London, Stockholm, now Berlin.
Have you ever been to Brazil?
Oh yeah, oh definitely.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like, even in my family, like we're martial artists actually in my family.
Right.
So we grew up with.
Now that's interesting to me.
Yeah, so we grew up with capoeira. So a lot of West African instruments are incorporated into the dance because they disguised it as a dance because they were outlawed, right?
Yeah.
So that became a big influence. Like one of the songs actually we played tonight, my single is out. It's actually kind of a Brazilian rhythm hidden behind a bit of a Western blues kind of thing, you know? But it's more industrial sounding. So I like a lot of things like Radiohead, Nine Inch Nails. I love a lot of the alternative rock in the 90s. But my main influences come from, I would say, blues, like 50s, early 60s blues, and a lot of jazz. Definitely Coltrane and Mingus is a big one. And I mean, he touched on it a little bit, but the psychedelic period, especially between 66 and 73. All those bands, of course Jimmy, of course Cream, of course Zeppelin. Like, how can you not be influenced by these people, you know? Yeah.
So, okay, tell us about your martial arts. Does anybody else here do martial arts? Is there
No, never
He's done a
went
little
fully. I did start, but it's something I need to get back into.
what did you start with? What did you do?
So I started with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu,
Okay.
but I was living abroad. I was actually living in Berlin. So before I even moved to Berlin, I think 3 years before, when I was studying, I had moved there for a semester, and I started. But then when I had to go to France for the second half, it was too far away. It was like a 2-hour walk, and I couldn't walk for 2 hours at the end of the day. So I had to like stop doing it. But it's something I want to take up again.
Okay. And you? Anything?
Nope, can't throw a punch, mate.
Just street fighting.
Yeah,
He throws heavy fucking lines, is what he throws, man.
Okay, so tell us a bit about your martial arts training and what ones you've done and how it's influenced your music. That would be interesting.
Well, capoeira is a really interesting art form, again, because it's also incorporated as a dance, right?
Yeah.
Again, because it was outlawed, a lot of the movements in, let's say, like the attacks are disguised as dance movements first. So when you see it, it looks a bit funny to everyone else, but it's applicable in like street fights because it mimics walking, the dance. So, I mean, I grew up with it in the household. My father had done it since he was 13. My brother, who's 9 years older than me, he's done it since he was 2. So it really is ingrained. That music is ingrained in me. It's like we have an instrument called the beating bow. Actually, Sepultura used that in Bloody Root. That's that weird droning instrument you hear in that track. That's a big influence on me because it's very close to how blues drums. So right away, when I got into blues, I had that link between the West African instruments and of course, plantation blues. So I would say capoeira really influenced my upbringing, which then led to music, right? So it wasn't so apparent for me right away until I turned maybe 16. But I would say, yeah.
So tell us about your how you came to play the instruments that you did. I mean, what attracted you to the drums? What attracted you to the bass? Because you're a guitarist as well.
Yes.
So, and what attracted you to the guitar? What made you go, fuck, I want to go and do that? You know what I mean?
How much time you got? I mean,
Let's try as briefly as possible.
All right.
But just say,
well, guitar. I mean, I was into a lot of like. I just started with punk stuff, like Sex Pistols, British punk kind of stuff. Then went backwards, Sabbath, Zeppelin, all that. And then, eventually picked up bass because it was fun,
Yeah.
And here we are.
And so, did your parents sort of like encourage you at all?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
Your
yeah.
dad has a really wicked
My dad's
reggae
a big
collection.
music.
And now I'd like to hear about yours because nobody wants a drummer in the house. So tell us about
Yeah,
that.
I will say I'm very lucky. But basically, at a younger age, my dad used to invite his friend Paul around, and I actually had a few other instruments that were around. Like drums wasn't the first thing that was about.
Yeah.
But as soon as we had like these biscuit tins, and I bought some drumsticks, and I just wanted to play. Like I just had this urge to fidget and play. And my dad used to put on like the Albert Hall gig, and there was like Moby Dick
Oh, man.
and Bring It On
Oh,
Home.
dude.
And I would just see this
70s.
as a kid, or like Slain Castle by the Chili Peppers. Those were like the two main videos I'd watch at TV, and I would just play. And then my parents just saw I was into it. They got me another kit, and they've always just put up with the noise. So I've always been able to play an acoustic kit, and I'm just really lucky that I can play almost whenever. So I'm
I've
just
seen
lucky
the
I have
pictures.
tolerant parents.
I've seen the pictures, bro.
That's it.
Tiny Tony.
That's it.
Just slaying on the kit,
On the
man.
full size.
Yeah, man.
And you, how did you? What happened to you? I mean, so
Wow.
you would have been in Canada at the time, yeah?
Yeah, I didn't actually start in Canada. I started in New York
Okay.
and Jersey. But I will say
Bloody
this.
freezing in Canada.
Oh, it's fucking 8 months of winter, man.
Yeah.
You can't keep me there. Hell no.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, but you think you probably want to play the drums in Canada because basically to keep warm.
Maybe you
know what I
keep
mean?
warm with that. Yeah,
Yeah.
guitar players, we suffer, man. We die in the cold.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Well, I had always wanted to play an instrument, but I sort of suffered from the same thing my parents did growing up because they grew up pretty poor. So they couldn't actually afford instruments in Brazil. You know, like they come from big families. I think my mom came from a family of 9. My father family of 7. So they didn't have money for instruments. So I kind of suffered from the same thing. We didn't have a lot of money. When I was about 11 years old, I had this inkling like, oh, I really want to start drums. A friend of mine was a really big like prog drummer. So I thought, yeah, maybe I'll start drums because, you know, he's there and I'm really drawn to the kit. I love rhythm. So naturally you start drums. I started with that, and then I noticed I kept air guitaring all the fucking time. So I worked up the stones to ask my parents because I was afraid if I asked for a guitar and they spent the money, the little money they had, maybe it would be a phase. And of course, already thinking economically as a child, so that's what happens when you grow up poor, right? But I finally worked up the stones to ask them for a guitar, and then one day there it was. And then I was inseparable with the thing, man. 6 months into it, I got a Les Paul. I knew that was what I was gonna do, and fuck yeah, man, I'm still here doing it. So
yeah, tell us about your instruments because you've got a lot of guitars. You told me earlier that
Yeah.
you've got about, So what's the most expensive guitar you ever bought?
It's kind of neck and neck too. I would say the most expensive one I have a custom shop NOS 69 Strat with actually a C-shaped neck with a poly neck as well. It's got poly, not nitro finish.
Was it made in '60?
No, it's a custom shop. So it's actually new old stock. So it's made in, I gotta check the year exactly, but I think it was 98. But I gotta double check that. I'm not actually sure. But funny story, like I was telling you earlier, off camera.
You can do it on camera.
Yeah, it's Les Paul. Like 6 months in, I got a Les Paul Classic, and I still haven't played one similar until I played this guy's. And actually, right before the tour, because I didn't bring any of my gear, I'm actually using Ty's gear on this tour. He's been like kind enough to loan me literally everything. And he buys a 2003 Les Paul Classic with the same fucking finish that I've got. It's the only thing that's missing is the pickguard.
Yeah.
And you know, he's got this Peter Green thing going with his axe, and it's beautiful. And I thought, like, holy shit! So those are the two main axes I use, and I got lucky enough to have this guy on tour with me.
Quite a coincidence that he got the It's the same
Hey,
colour.
it's
It's the
Running
same
Team.
color,
Running
same
Team.
year, same brand, and as you know, I'm gonna give a quick shout out to my man Rory here,
Yeah.
because Rory said it right.
Hey!
Should I check the serial number?
Yeah, check it soon.
We should
Oh,
do.
they-
Because if it's like 13 and 12.
That's spooky.
Yeah.
That's spooky, man.
Scary, man.
It really is one of those, like, look, I'm a big guy that comes like signs. Okay, I actually pay attention to a lot of signs. That's how I got to where I got now. And this guy was a huge sign to me, like left and right. Holy shit, man! It's scary sometimes. It keeps my ass up at night thinking about all the weird coincidences that exist between him and I, and of course with Tig, like it was just like like one of those Vegas neon signs, man. It's like flashing tits in your face or some shit. Like, yeah, this is it. This is the fucking guy. And lo and behold, he has my Les Paul.
Well, it helps.
We even have the same taste in music too, man.
Pretty
like,
much, yeah.
right down to the same guitar players, same tracks.
And you've only known him a week.
I've
Pretty
only
much.
known this guy a week.
We played together, what, 3 times or something?
It's like 3 times. We only
Yeah.
had like one like real rehearsal.
One
really.
proper rehearsal.
It's really weird.
And here we are.
Yeah.
We went to see you and we put the wrong address. They put the wrong address on the thing. So
Oh,
we
no.
were
Well,
just
you ended up in the right
standing-
Well, you
place.
got in the
Yeah.
right place.
Yeah, well, we did in the end because he said, "Oh, let's just go down there and sifted on there." And actually, you were, so we got.
I hope
really
it was worth the
lucky.
trouble, man.
Of course, it was worth the trouble. Sort of like, so let me ask you. Well, okay, so let me ask you about the most expensive guitar you bought.
The one he's playing.
Yeah.
That one.
And can I ask how much
Yeah,
it
true.
cost?
No.
Okay.
Not among gentlemen, we don't talk about price.
Okay. All right.
Hey, wait! I do want to shout out one thing because he turned me on to him too. Is Monty's pickups.
Monty's pickups. Monty's guitars, baby. The best.
Solid pickups. They're the pickups in the Les Paul.
Hand wound by 2
Unpotted.
people. Yeah.
Oh, lovely. Just wanted to throw that out
Yeah,
there.
we'll get him in there.
You all seem to live in different places in different countries. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
pretty
how,
much.
How the bloody hell do you rehearse?
How?
Well,
Fly him out to Berlin.
yeah, that's
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
much how
They,
that works.
they come stay with me in Mitte.
Yeah,
and
but
then,
you've only known him a week, so you've only been rehearsing a week.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
But he rehearsed in Berlin with me.
Yeah,
So tell
last
us,
week.
Okay, so tell us about the interesting places you've played, because you must have played all over the place.
yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
you must have been with other bands.
Let, no, actually, I've actually kind of always done my own thing.
Okay.
But I've been like hired gun sometimes to things I really like. I've done that. But I've been playing in New York
Have
since.
you done session work or anything like that?
Yeah, a little bit. Little bits
Okay.
here and there. But I'm always focused on my own thing. Since I was 14 years old, I've been playing in Manhattan. I even went down to like City Hall, filed for my youth performance permit, and I was into the club. So I'll tell you what. It's an interesting place, and it was an interesting show. And it was my very first show in New York.
Okay.
And it was at this old place called Mo Pickens. It's not there anymore. But I remember stepping onto this tiny, like, pizza wedge kind of stage. And, like, you could maybe fit 2 people there. So, of course, I fit, like, 3 amps, a drum kit, and, I'm on the floor, on the ground, off the stage, trying to play my ass off. I made $60. But the kicker is, the opening act was this weird, it's like an avant-garde dance troupe
Oh, yeah.
with prosthetic genitals
Wow.
that worked. So my introduction to jamming and playing in New York, my whole career, that whole thing, it was like these dudes with like neon-colored
Yeah, I mean,
penises and
New York.
vaginas
Yeah, yeah.
and like leotards, and like they had these weird like penis glasses and all this shit. And I'm like, all right, well, that's New York, baby, let's go. You know?
So
So-
that's your introduction to the New York music scene.
Yeah, as a musician anyway, yeah.
So, okay, so you can all answer this. What's the most interesting, the best place you've ever played, or sort of like the most interesting place?
The best place?
The penis, the penis.
That's the most
dancers.
interesting.
Yeah,
Most
probably.
interesting
But-
place.
Yeah, all the best place. I mean, what sort of
No, I'm
countries
just-
you've
Stick
been
with
to?
interesting.
I'm really trying to think. 'cause
Have you
there's
played
sometimes
Japan
there's-
or anywhere like that?
No, I haven't played like out before, but I'm trying to think most interesting.
Yeah, Troubadour.
Troubadour, I think the Royal Festival Hall. That
Oh,
was an
really?
interesting gig because it was with a school brass group actually,
Right.
and we only got the chance to play 2 songs, and the drum stool was way too high and most of the kit was broken, so I had to squat playing the drums without being on the seat, so I was like this,
Okay.
and I had to just play. And the really annoying thing about that place is they shine the middle of the light right on the drums and the congas, and everyone else was down there. And also because of the layout, you see everyone very close to you. So it's like the whole audience is like right in your face, and it's super exposed, and it was terrifying. And yeah, that's probably the most interesting gig.
I'm going with here an hour ago.
Oh, right, really?
This was it, yeah.
Have you played with lots of
Yes.
places?
Thank you. I was waiting for that.
So-
What are you
I got you.
But have you played in like other countries or?
No, I never played abroad yet.
And have you ever played abroad?
Yes.
Okay, and
Not
what
yet.
countries have
It's
you
coming.
played?
He
in?
will be in
It's
November.
coming.
You
it's
will,
coming.
you will. Yeah,
What countries
yeah.
have you played in?
Well, I played in France.
Okay.
Germany, of course, because we actually had a show on the 20th of January this year.
Right, that's what I was going to say. Tell us about the Berlin scene. Because
Berlin scene?
It's quite different. A lot of people think it's special or sort of like.
I would say it's eclectic. You know, in terms of variety, I think New York sort of has everyone beat, always. Because you can literally find any kind of thing in New York. Berlin's a bit different. Berlin has this kind of, I mean, I haven't been there long enough to explore it as well as I know New York, but I've been there actually on the day, today.
Yeah, 2 years
It's
today.
2 years
Two
today I moved to
anniversary.
Berlin.
There you go.
Why did you do that? Why did you think Berlin was a place for you?
You know what? The worst immigration experience I've ever had was Stockholm. And I got into a huge legal battle. I will say this, because Stockholm, you missed out, man. You did.
Yeah.
But I actually had the time of my life. Can I go on a little tangent? Can I go on a
Yeah,
little
yeah,
story?
go on a tangent. We do like a tangent.
All right, so I decided that I wanted to leave New York, and I wanted to go back to Europe. So I had moved to London when I was 17, and I moved back to New York when I was about 19, 20. I met this Swedish girl, of course. What leads you to Stockholm?
Swedish girls are nice.
That's it, and
Yeah.
she's still with me.
Oh, really?
About 5 years now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
5 years in September actually. So I go to Stockholm. It's super beautiful. The air is crisp. The water's nice. The people are kind of nice. They're a little funny sometimes, but I love them anyway. And I met these two guys, Rockis, is Ulf Iverson, and Hooks Niffermalm, who are maybe two of the best session musicians I've ever had the privilege to play with in my life. And they took a liking to me, and they saw, like, I had nothing, man. I had nothing when I got to Stockholm. I only knew my girl. And in 3 months I had my first show, and I met Rockis and Hooks. And then Rockis takes me to this place called Kapsulen. Don't worry, Jürgen, I will take care of you, bro. And I started recording this album that I didn't even plan. I didn't plan to record it. I was gonna do shows, but then the fucking pandemic happened. So everything was shut down, but Stockholm was kind of open, you know? So I was able to actually record this record that's gonna come out next year. And lo and behold, after I record this record, my lawyer here, who's recently passed, is actually a British guy. Yeah, get yourself a British lawyer. Let me fucking tell you, man. But it was, rest in peace, Alexis Grauer. And he actually used to manage, or not manage, he used to handle the estate of Lemmy. And he handled Robert Plant, Roger Daltrey. I met him out of a fluke, and he took a really big liking to me. And of course, I couldn't afford him, and he knew that. But he hooked me up. The very last thing he did for me was take that record I made in Stockholm, and he put it on the desk of a one Todd Singerman, and that is my manager today. And he was Lemmy's personal manager. So I'm managed by Singerman Entertainment now, and super thankful for that. I did cry when I got the call, and they signed me right on the call. And that's my story about Stockholm. So I moved to Berlin because I finished the record. My visa was ending, and they said, you should go to Berlin. And the weird fate thing about it is I had this weird gut feeling for 5 years, even before I went to Stockholm. Somehow I'm gonna end up in Berlin. I had no interest to go to Berlin, but lo and behold, now I live there 2 years.
So that's great. Tell us about, are you all under the same management, or you're all sort of like...
No, but they're with me.
We're with him.
Okay, so, right, well tell us about any records coming out?
Yeah, so Vanity Affair, this record I told you about,
Yeah.
it will come out, date is a little undisclosed. There might be a couple things in the work that I can't really talk about right now.
Top
Yeah.
secret.
Yeah, ooh. But next year we will release the full record. Just so you know, everything is finished. The cover's done, vinyl masters are done. There's gonna be vinyl too. Thank God. That's been a dream of mine since I was a kid, to see my face on a fucking record like I used to have. It'd be cool to see my record next to Dark Side of the Moon one day. So yeah, it will come out next year. But I released one single, and that's Riot. I released it actually on the first tour that we played, and the first time we played together.
That's it.
And that was This Boy Can Kill It.
time.
Yeah, you can fucking kill it, man.
So where are you all playing next? What's the next place you're going to play?
The Mess Room in Skipton, back up in Yorkshire. That's the next one.
Skipton, right?
Yeah.
Yorkshire. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
How does it compare being up north to being in London?
Oh, it's very different.
Yeah.
Very
Shall I
different.
take that one?
If you want.
I've actually just experienced the North for the very first time in my life, and I've always wanted to see Manchester. I've always wanted to be around those parts. Never got to go when I lived here, but I will say this: like, the pace is so laid back up there. It reminds me a little bit of Montreal in Canada, you know, and the people are super kind. They take the time to get to know you. They take the time to be curious about you too. I noticed that people get curious and they entertain their curiosity a little bit there, whereas I think here is a little bit more reserved and passive in terms of their curiosity. You know, they're a little desensitized to crazy shit, right? It's London, and fuck, man, I love London because I love this pace. This is my blood, right? But I would say that's the biggest difference.
So right, so it's the point where I say, John, do you want to ask any questions?
No, not really, but tell us the rest of the gigs you're playing.
So we're gonna play the Mess Room in Skipton.
Yeah,
that's on the
Sunday,
6th.
6th, yeah.
Yeah, and then where are we on the 8th again?
Leeds, the Duck and Drake on the 8th.
And then the 10th we're at Gulliver's in
That's
Manchester.
right. 10th Gulliver's Manchester, 11th Jimmy's in Liverpool, 12th the
Birmingham.
Night Owl in Birmingham.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then 13th, the pub in
You're also
Lancashire.
Yes,
playing
Lancaster, yeah.
Tam.
Yeah, we're playing
Yes.
Tam. That's actually the next gig after the pub.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
I like it.
17th.
It's great.
17th.
Yeah,
It's
Elephant
a
and
good-
Castle.
Yeah, it's a
We're
good
really
place.
excited about that.
We've got a killer support as well, Fire in Our Eyes.
Yeah.
Shout out to those cats.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very cool.
This man's beautiful lady.
Yeah,
Phenomenal band.
we're not biased.
Yes.
They're really good.
Yes, they are.
She's the one behind all of it.
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
And then the last gig is, oh no, that's not the last gig.
The last
The
gig.
next
in
gig
Europe.
is Night Owl in
Yeah.
Finsbury Park on the 18th.
18th.
And then we got Flying
Flying
Circus on the
Circus in
20th.
Newark to end the
20th.
tour. Yeah.
And then, well, we're deciding whether or not we might play.
We might be hitting the Great British Rhythm and Blues Festival. We'll see if it works out. We're
See,
trying.
You've known him a week and you're on tour already. So,
Yes, we
That's how
are.
it goes. That's how it's
quite-
done.
Things move
it's quite
fast, you know.
active, but you know,
Right on.
you seem all very comfortable.
Oh, yeah.
So
That's it.
That's pretty good.
I will say this, if I can, just say one thing about these two guys. I've been fortunate enough to play with some really amazing people in my life, and a lot of people in my day. I have. But the kind of camaraderie I have with these two, I could be in a car with this guy for 3 days.
Pretty
It's
much
fine.
have already.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And him as well. Like, these two guys, they got my back, and they got my back on stage.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
we're friends. We're actually friends.
Yeah,
That's
we have
what
a
feels
deep-
good.
It's not just a job, you know.
No, because I am a solo artist, you know? I do hire people, but these guys don't feel like a hire.
No.
And when I think about who I want to bring on the road, who I want to be like, you know, when I'm 50 playing Royal Albert Hall, because that shit's going to happen, baby. These two. I see these two here with me, man.
Well,
I think we're being collared out that door there.
well, anyway, that's a very good place to end it. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you kindly, guys.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Nice one.
Thank you
Cheers.
so much.
Brilliant.
Have a
Thank
good
you very
evening.
much.
Thank
See you again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you will. Yeah.
Take care. Thank you.